Today, we have the topic for this day, which is the public water treatment and distribution, presented by Angelo D. Amansek, Sophia K. S. Jimenez, Catherine Gianna G. Sapang, presented to Engineer Marvin Bertolome. I'm Catherine Gianna Garcia Sapang, and I'm the first reporter. So, before anything else, we're gonna talk about the stages of public water distribution. The first one is the collection and screening and straining, coagulation and proculation, sedimentation and clarification, filtration, disinfection, storage, and distribution. So first, we're gonna talk about the collection. So, collection, it is the process where we need to obtain the volume of water for human and industrial consumption from nature. This is also known as water catchment. And in water catchment, we have different ways on how to collect the water or the water that we need to obtain. In the surface water like lake, pond, river. And the groundwater, in groundwater, there is a lot of process that we can get the water like evaporation, um, precipitation, and also in pumping well. So, in summary, groundwater is the water that occurs below the surface of the earth. And the surface water is the water that occurs above the surface of the earth. So here we have a figure which is have the two example in like surface water and groundwater. As you can see here, there is a surface water and it is above the surface of the earth or above the groundwater, and the groundwater is below the surface of the earth, or it also can be known as the when there is a collision in the soil and in the clouds, we have the rain, we can get the groundwater, or that is also known as the groundwater. And then the second stage, which is the screening and straining. If you think about surface water sources, you realize they contain varying amounts of suspended and dissolved materials. So the first process in conventional water treatment is to screen and strain out the larger items. This is often accomplished using a large metal screen, often called a bar screen, which is placed in front of the water source intake. Large items are dropped in the screen as the water passes through it. These screens must routinely be raked or cleaned up. So there is a figure here which is the example of the bar screen. So screening and straining, uh, this is a this is the example of it, which is the figure which is bar screen, and we have here some letters which is A, B, C, and as you can see, the A is the screen and the B is the pipe, and then the C is the bypass pipe. So in screening and straining, in the first stage we have the collection, right? So as you can see, while collecting, you didn't get the water itself, right? You have to get a lot of rocks, a lot of sand. So here in screening and straining, we can remove the larger items that that so that the water can be clean. And then we're gonna go with the second reporter. Thank you for listening.
I am Angelo de Amansek, and to continue our report, I will now discuss the coagulation or flocculation. This is the use of chemical reagents to destabilize and increase the size of the particles flux, which are easier to remove, settling, or filtration. So this is the process involves adding iron or aluminum salts. Those chemical reagents, such as aluminum sulfate, ferric sulfate, ferric chloride, or polymers are called coagulants. So in the picture below, the coagulant is added in the water, then coagulant forms precipitate, trapping impurities. Then precipitate and trapped impurities settle to the bottom. Next is sedimentation and clarification. Sedimentation is the next step in conventional filtration plants. The purpose of sedimentation is to enhance the filtration process by removing particles. So this is the process by which suspended particles are removed from the water by means of gravity or separation. In the sedimentation process, the water passes through a relatively quiet and still basin. In this condition, the flak particles settle to the bottom of the basin, while clear water passes out of the basin over an effluent baffle or weir. We can see in the picture below that the sediments are settled at the bottom part of the tank and the cleared water are conserved for the process. Filtration. Filtration is the process of separating suspended solid matter from a liquid by causing the latter to pass through the pores of some substance such as sand and gravel called filter. The liquid which has passed through the filter is called the filtrate. We can see at the picture below that there is a water inlet and then the water has passed in the filters which are the sand, gravel, and then the cleared or filtered water is being conserved for the next process. That's all for my part. Thank you.
I am Sofia K. Jimenez, the last reporter, and now I will gonna tackle about disinfection. So what is disinfection? Water disinfection means the removal, deactivating, or killing of pathogenic microorganisms. Microorganisms are destroyed or deactivated, resulting in termination of growth and reproduction. So to make sure that the water is clean and safe, the water from filtration will move to chlorine mixture because chlorine can able to kill or remove microorganisms like bacteria to terminate the growth and reproduction to prevent people in sickness. Then after disinfection, the water is stored after the disinfecting process is completed. Storage is typically done in a clear well, an underground storage tank as well as rice storage tank visible around the town. So, in our town, may makikita tayong mga storage tank. Dito naka-imbak yung mga na-disinfect ng water and ready nang i-distribute sa mga bahay-bahay upang magamit at mapakinabangan. Ito na nga yung distribution. The water distribution system is a part of water supply network with components that carry potable water from a centralized treatment plant or wells to consumer to satisfy residential, commercial, industrial, and firefighting requirements. So, yung nalinis and na-imbak ng water dun sa storage tank, ibig sabihin is ready na itong i-distribute sa mga bahay-bahay para pakinabangan at gamitin sa kanilang pang-araw-araw. Note, pumps and valves are located at a variety of locations throughout the distribution system. Ito yung nagsisilbing tulay upang ma-distribute yung mga water sa isang town. And that's all. Thank you. I hope you learned a lot in our video reporting. Have a good day and God bless you all. Goodbye. Thank you.